to form a hard mate. The fly around of the International Space Station is planned about 12 minutes from now, as the Soyuz will conduct a 122-degree fly around of the station to precisely align itself at a range of about 400 meters or 1,300 feet, looking directly into the barrel of the docking port on the Poisk module on the space-facing side of the International Space Station. At Mission Control in Houston, the Orbit 2 team of flight controllers is on duty at this hour, led by Flight Director Vincent LaCourte. He and his team of flight controllers, as I mentioned just a short time ago, conducted a go, no-go poll of all of their flight control positions and concluded that everything was in good shape from the space station side of the house to accept the arrival of the Soyuz and its 3 occupants. LaCourte is on the right side of your screen talking to Pooja Jaswani, who's the spacecraft communicator, joined on console today by Kjell Lindgren, Soyuz systems expert, who is providing his insight when required, and talking directly to the space station crew of Shkaplerov, Tingle, and Kenai when required. Once the docking is completed and a hard mate is established between the Soyuz and the International Space Station at the Poisk module docking port, the crews on either side of the docking interface will conduct about 90 minutes worth of leak checks and pressure checks to ensure that they have an airtight seal at that docking interface before the approval is given for them to open hatches. That is scheduled at approximately 4:45 p.m. Central Time, which would be 12:45 a.m. here in Moscow on Saturday morning. At that point, the 6 crew members will have a chance to greet one another, conduct a short welcoming ceremony in which they'll accept congratulatory calls from VIPs and family members who are gathered here on the balcony at the Russian Mission Control Center before they get down to business, which will include the traditional safety briefing and a tour of the station by Station Commander Anton Shkaplerov, who will show them escape routes and basically run through all of the emergency evacuation procedures that are standard staple practice for any arriving space station crew. The crew on the International Space Station, once the new residents arrive, will have an off-duty day on Saturday, but there's no time to lose as they get back into a normal workday, actually, on Sunday that will be highlighted by spacewalk tool preparations and spacewalk procedure reviews that will be conducted for Drew Feustel and Ricky Arnold, who just 6 days from now, next Thursday, will be conducting a 6.5-hour spacewalk outside of the Quest airlock of the International Space Station to install wireless antennas to accommodate payload operations coming up in the near future, as well as replacing a camera port assembly out on the P1 truss, or the Port 1 truss of the International Space Station. The crew, well-trained, with Feustel having had 6 spacewalks to his credit, and Ricky Arnold with 2, will get right down to business without hardly an opportunity to breathe before they begin a fairly intense several days of spacewalking activities that will precede them going out of the hatch of the Quest airlock next Thursday. We'll talk more about that later on. There is a view from the International Space Station's truss cameras of the Soyuz vehicle as the Soyuz is flying at an altitude of some 253 miles above the Earth, in tandem with the International Space Station, continuing to close its distance and its rate of closure to the complex, with docking again scheduled at 2:41 p.m. Central Time, 10:41 p.m. here in Korolyov. Again, a good view of the thruster firings on the Soyuz MS-08 spacecraft with the call sign of Hawaii as chosen collectively by the crew members. Oleg Artemyev in the center seat is the Soyuz commander, flanked on his left by Drew Feustel and on his right by Ricky Arnold, as they are now just 29 minutes away from contact and capture, if not earlier, depending on the progress of the Soyuz and the precise alignment of the Soyuz forward docking probe to the Poisk module once the fly-around of the International Space Station is complete.
Just work per your discretion, whatever works best. You can deactivate AGC mode. Okay, we're going to try that.
You're hearing Russian flight controllers talking to Artemyev on board the Soyuz vehicle. The Soyuz and the International Space Station flying in an orbit inclined 51.6 degrees to either side of the equator, moving from southwest to northeast, flying directly over Montevideo, Uruguay.
21 kilometers is the range, closing in 3.6. And, okay, I see that the value of 1, again, and DPO are active, approach and attitude thrusters. The station is moving from left to right. Copy. And we are standing by for break-in burn or retrograde burn on approach and attitude thrusters. DPO closing in 3.4. 4 kilometers is the range. Predictions are being updated.
The Soyuz, again, through automated command from its computers, is conducting a series of what are known as impulse burns. These are small mid-course corrections of a few seconds in duration that is enabling the Soyuz to fine-tune its path to the International Space Station. Now 800 meters separating the Soyuz and the station, closing at a rate of just under 2.5 meters per second.
Okay, break-in burn DPO are active now. DPO in operation. Break-in. Okay, 800 meters. Oleg, I copy you, and I read you loud and clear. Are you seeing the image? The predictions are being updated. Yes, the image is of very good quality right now. Okay, activate AGC mode once again. I think it will be better for both, for you and for us as well. AGC mode worked for us, but again, I'd like to stress that you should like the image that works best for you. Copy. 670 is the range. The angular size is
less than 700 meters now separating the Soyuz, as you can see in this view from cameras on the International Space Station flying over Sao Paulo, Brazil, at an altitude of 253 statute miles. Everything continuing to go by the book as we approach the point of the start of the fly-around that will be initiated at a distance of about 400 meters, a fly-around of 122 degrees for the Soyuz to precisely align itself with the Poisk module on the space-facing side of the International Space Station's Russian segment.
The rate is 1.5. Prediction is being updated. Excellent. Copy.
Расстояние 550 метров.
550 meters, closing in at 1.4. Half a square is the same size. 490 is the course value. The values match.
Russian flight controllers reporting to Anton Shkaplerov aboard the station, as well as Oleg Artemyev aboard the Soyuz, that the MS-08 is right on track. The Corps' automated rendezvous system operating as advertised. You can see in this split-screen view, the view on the upper left-hand corner from the Soyuz external television camera, and on the right, the view from a truss camera on the International Space Station.
We're switching to page 77 of the ODS. Affirmative. The range is 415, 1.1 is the rate. The predictions are being updated. Copy and confirm. We're seeing the fly around. And
flight controllers now reporting that the fly around by the Soyuz MS-08 has begun. Again, a 122-degree angle for this fly around that will result in the forward end of the Soyuz MS-08 vehicle in direct alignment with the docking port of the Poisk module on the space-facing side of the Russian segment of the International Space Station. This fly-around should take under 10 minutes to complete, at which point, at about 2:28 p.m. Central Time, the Soyuz will put on the brakes for the start of a brief period of station keeping at a range of some 600 feet from its final destination at the Poisk module docking port.
340 is the range. Rate is 0.86 meters. All the sizes match. Angular sizes match. 320 meters is the range. I think. Okay. I copy. We're seeing the image and we confirm rate and range values.
Flying in symmetry, the Soyuz and the International Space Station now flying directly over Rio de Janeiro, moving from southwest to northeast. Everything going by the book, no issues reported. All of the Soyuz systems in good shape. Oleg Artemyev in the center seat of the Soyuz spacecraft, flanked on his left by Drew Feustel, on his right, Ricky Arnold.
Yes, we are. Well, you should have closed window covers. 280 meters is the range, 0.59 is the rate. And the range and rate match. Predictions are being updated. Okay.
Steady as she goes, the Soyuz spacecraft continuing its fly around of the International Space Station to align itself with the Poisk module. Everything in good shape. Flight controllers here in Korolyov very happy with the data that they're seeing on their displays.
It is approximately 1 square in size, and of course values match. Sizes are also the same or match. SM is exactly 1 square, and its range is 238, and rate 0.37. Everything matches. DPO are on.
The Soyuz MS-08 not quite halfway through its fly around. Again, when it reaches a point of about 193 meters or 633 feet away from the station, the Soyuz will automatically put on the brakes based on its computer commands and sit quiescently for a few minutes for a period of station keeping to allow flight controllers here in Korolyov to assess its systems one final time before the automated command is given to proceed on for final approach, contact, and capture.
Copy, and we're receiving the image. Also, we confirm all parameters.
.215 meters separating Soyuz and the station, closing at a rate of just over 1/10 of a meter per second.
The range is approximately 210 meters, and the rate is almost zero. Predictions are being updated, and you only have 80 degrees of left fly round. Okay, yes, I confirm. Copy. Sunset will start in 2 minutes and 2:27, and approach will happen at Eclipse Pass. Okay, so we will need to activate headlights, correct? Yes, so should I activate the...
The Soyuz MS-08 and the International Space Station is approaching an orbital sunset as it nears the west coast of northeast. 200 meters now separating the Soyuz and 3 new residents of the station from their final destination, the Poisk module.
Headlights are on. Floodlights are on. Range is approximately 200 meters. Rate is almost equal to zero. Predictions are being updated. Copy.
The Soyuz, now more than 3/4 of the way complete with its fly around, will be standing by momentarily for the nulling of the rates and the approach of the Soyuz to the International Space Station and the start of just a brief period of station keeping.
200 meters is the range. Rate is at almost zero. Predictions are being updated. DPO are operating continuously. DPO approach and attitude thrusters are operating. Okay, you have almost completed flight around. You are going to activate a VSK periscope illumination unit, and a flight engineer should be prepared for the command final approach on approach display.
All right, so what's that? You can minimize them if that's necessary. Are you still receiving the telemetry? Yes, we do receive the image. And we are waiting for these steps to be completed, and after that we'll send the rendezvous command immediately after that. Copy. So we'll be waiting for the station keeping.
Just 200 meters now separating Soyuz from the International Space Station, and as you can see from this external television camera on the Soyuz spacecraft, a roll maneuver is underway to properly angle the solar arrays on the Soyuz for final approach and docking.
The roll maneuver is underway. We can see that. Affirmed. Affirmative.
Yes, K-15. Есть K-15.
K-15 is confirmed. Copy all. That's great.
The approach rate has been nulled. Station keeping underway. Flight controllers here in Korolyov assessing the Soyuz systems.
Station keeping is confirmed.
We are expecting the initiation of final approach momentarily.
Yes. Okay, please send the rendezvous command. It has been sent. We can see the rendezvous.
And flight controllers now confirming that the Soyuz has initiated its final approach for a docking to the Poisk module of the International Space Station. A good view of the spacecraft. In the descent module, the Soyuz commander Oleg Artemyev, flanked by NASA astronauts Drew Feustel and Ricky Arnold, moments away from their arrival at the International Outpost.
So when we get closer, the floodlights will be helping us there. So, but we can see everything very clearly in the periscope. That's great. The docking port is higher, 1 square higher in the periscope. Slightly in the roll direction. So I see some divergence in roll values. That is nominal, Oleg.
По служебному модулю примерно угловой размер 2 клетки.
The size of the SM is approximately 2 squares, and we are at 120 meters, and the rate is 0.6, and the predictions are being corrected right now. Copy.
The Core's automated rendezvous system right on the money in the lower left-hand corner from this view of the Soyuz external television camera. You're looking almost right down the barrel of the Poisk module. Now just 100 meters separating the two vehicles, Soyuz closing at a rate of 0.5 of a meter per second.
ССП. Готов. Пожалуйста.
You see the solar arrays. I hope so. 80 meters away.
Около 3 лет по служебному модулю.
The SM.
The visiting vehicle officer working with the ballistics folks both here in Korolyov and at Mission Control in Houston reports that the Soyuz is dead on, straight as an arrow, heading for a docking just minutes from now. Great view of the Soyuz MS-08, which 2 days ago sat on the launch pad of the Baikonur Cosmodrome in Kazakhstan, now just a short distance away from completing its journey, which has been fully automated to this point.
1 square in size. Copy. 70 meters. Okay, so the range here. The target is almost at the center of the periscope, slightly higher than the center. Copy.
Just 58 meters now separating the two vehicles, Soyuz and the International Space Station flying over northwest Algeria, soon to cross the northern coast of Africa and over the Mediterranean.
The docking port is approximately 1.5 squares in size. It should be 45-50 meters, and it matches that. The predictions are being updated. Copy. So we'll wait for the range of 47 meters, and we should be controlling the docking and internal transfer system. Yes, so 48, in accordance with the predictions, is 49. So we are just standing by. Docking and internal transfer system command has been sent. The hooks are open, and everything is confirmed. So all SSVP docking internal transfer system commands have gone through. Copy.
The Soyuz MS-08 has now powered up its docking mechanism. Everything on both ends, both on the station end and the Soyuz end, operating normally. 40 meters separating Soyuz from its contact and capture point at the Poisk module.
The docking port is 2 squares in size. The range is approximately 33 meters. 36. Copy. The docking port is clearly visible. It is being illuminated by the floodlights, but it's still a little bit dark. Copy. We can also see the docking port. I can see the cross lines very well. Copy all. That's great news. The crosshairs are aligned.
very good view of the Poisk module docking port with the diamond-shaped docking target just underneath the crosshairs.
Oxygen supply is
Everything is in great shape, some 20 meters away, separating Soyuz from the International Space Station.
The range is less than 60 meters. Yes. As their air is confirmed.
Есть причал. Нет, сейчас причал, да. Причал есть, кажется.
Rendezvous is confirmed.
Одна клетка помещения, расстояние примерно 18 метров по угловым размерам совпадает.
Approximately 18 meters, and it is 1 square in size. Everything matches the curve's data. The predictions are being updated.
Наплыв хороший, кресты собраны.
The crosshairs are aligned. We can see it very clearly. The image is very clear.
Just 12 meters away, Soyuz closing at its expected rate of 1/10 of a meter per second as we stand by for contact and capture.
Around 10 meters. Copy. We don't see the image anymore. Oh, it's back.
Кресты собраны, с допуском необходимо.
The crosshairs are aligned.
Хороший.
Everything is nominal.
2,5 клетки подстыковочной мишени. Отлично.
The target is at the center of the cross lines.
Хорошо.
That's great.
Небольшой крен есть,
You
допустим.
can see some raw value here, but it's allowed.
Отлично. Подстыковочная мишень по контролю стыковка отлично.
The target is clearly visible. Yes, we confirm the same. So we're standing by for the contact. Yes, so are we?
Есть катание.
Contact is confirmed.
Есть цепка.
We have docking, contact confirmed, and capture confirmed at 2:40 p.m. Central Time, 10:40 p.m. Moscow time, as the Soyuz and the International Space Station flew 254 miles over Serbia. The International Space Station now in free drift, all thrusters disabled to allow relative motion between the two vehicles to dampen out prior to the retraction of the forward docking probe on the Soyuz. A textbook rendezvous, a perfect docking. Oleg Artemyev, Drew Feustel, and Ricky Arnold have arrived at the International Space Station to double its population. Again, docking confirmed at 2:40 p.m. Central Time, 3:40 p.m. Eastern Time.
Copy all.
Oleg, переходи на СФП.
Oleg, please switch to the docking internal transfer system, and you can go to page 81, and after that you can proceed with leak check.